All right, Dodgers fans, gather around because there's something big brewing in Los Angeles. The offseason might only just be getting started, but the vibes around Dodger Stadium already feel electric. Every rumor, every subtle hint, every quiet quote that slips past the media radar, it all starts to form a picture. And right now, that picture is starting to look a whole lot like another key signing is on the horizon. Not just any signing, either. We're talking about someone who's become the heartbeat of this clubhouse, someone who's been there in the clutch when it mattered most, Miguel Rojas. Now, before we get too deep into this, let's rewind just a bit. There's been a small but powerful moment floating around that not many people have noticed. It involves Shohei Ohtani, the biggest superstar in baseball right now, and Miguel Rojas, one of the Dodgers' quiet leaders. The story goes that during a casual exchange, Ohtani looked at Rojas and said something that made everyone stop and think. He told him, "You're playing with me for the next 10 years. 10 years. Rojas laughed it off, saying something like, "Sho, I'm old, man. I don't know if I can go another 10, but I'll play with you next year for sure." It was a lighthearted moment, but if you know baseball, you know that kind of interaction means something. Players don't talk like that unless there's a bond, and unless there's a plan behind the scenes. What's fascinating here is that this quote never really made the headlines. It kind of slipped through the cracks right after the Dodgers captured their second straight World Series title. But looking back now, it feels like a clue, a little breadcrumb that hints at what's coming. Because when a guy like Ohtani, who's not just a player but the cornerstone of the franchise, says something like that, you better believe the front office is listening. And let's be honest, Rojas earned that respect. This isn't just a veteran hanging on for one more paycheck. This is a guy who stepped up when it mattered most. Remember that Game 7 moment? 2 outs in the ninth, down to their final breath. And it's Rojas who delivers the swing that changes everything. That home run will live in Dodgers history forever. Without that hit, there's no trophy, no champagne, no parade. You can talk about Yamamoto closing it out. You can mention the stars who shined throughout the season, but when it came down to one swing, it was Rojas who came through. That's why this whole conversation about whether he'll return next year feels less like an if and more like a when. The Dodgers have always been a team that values their core guys, the players who fought for the crest on their chest year after year. They did it with Chris Taylor, with Kike Hernandez, and with guys like Justin Turner back in the day. The philosophy has always been clear. If you give everything to this team, they'll give it right back. And Miguel Rojas fits that mold perfectly. He's 36 now, sure, but he's not slowing down nearly as much as people might think. This season alone, he appeared in 114 games. The year before that, 103. He's durable, reliable, and consistent. The kind of guy who might not make the nightly highlight reel, but keeps the team steady through the grind of a long season. And for a club like the Dodgers, who love mixing and matching their infield, having someone dependable like Rojas is absolutely essential. But beyond the numbers, what really stands out about Rojas is his presence. You watch him in the dugout, in the clubhouse, on the field. He's always talking, always guiding the younger players, keeping the energy up even when the game gets tough. You can't measure that kind of leadership with stats. That's the stuff that keeps a team together in the late innings of October. And that's why Ohtani's little quote matters so much. It's not just a funny moment. It's symbolic of what this Dodgers team has built. There's chemistry here. There's belief. There's a shared goal to keep this core intact for one more run, maybe 2. And even though Rojas joked about being too old to play 10 more years, the fact that he said he'd be back next year tells us everything we need to know. He's not ready to hang it up. He's not ready to walk away from this story just yet. The front office knows it too. Andrew Friedman and the Dodgers staff understand the value of keeping players like Rojas around. Not because of sentimentality, but because of what he brings every single day. It's easy to look at the superstars, the Ohtanis, the Freddies, the Mookies, but the championship teams, the truly great ones, always have a glue guy. Someone who holds everything together quietly, who steps up when the lights are brightest. That's been Rojas all season long. Now, the interesting thing here is that the ball might actually be in Rojas's court. There's a sense that the Dodgers are ready whenever he is, that they'd have a blank contract waiting if he picks up the phone and says, "Let's do it again." The question isn't whether the Dodgers want him back. It's whether Rojas feels ready for another grind, another full season of chasing glory. Maybe he's taking time to think about it, to rest, to reflect on what's been an emotional run. Maybe he's talking with his family, deciding whether he wants to go out on top or lace them up one more time. Either way, the Dodgers are waiting. And honestly, how could they not? You can't teach what Miguel Rojas brings to the table. You can't replace that kind of clutch gene, that kind of loyalty, that kind of story. For a fan base that's seen legends come and go, Rojas represents something rare. A player who didn't just show up for the bright lights, but someone who fought his way into Dodgers lore through hard work, resilience, and moments that fans will never forget. When you think about next season, about what the Dodgers need to stay at the top, sure, there's always talk of adding more stars, bolstering the rotation, or finding that extra bat. But sometimes, the biggest moves aren't the flashiest ones. Sometimes, the most important signing is simply keeping your heart and soul in the clubhouse. That's what Miguel Rojas is. And as Shohei Ohtani said, maybe half jokingly, but maybe not, you're playing with me for 10 more years. Even if it's just one more, Dodgers fans would love to see that. One more year of the veteran at short, one more year of his leadership, his energy, his fire. Because if this team's going to go for a three-peat, if they're going to make history, they're going to need the same mix of talent, chemistry, and grit that's carried them through the last two. Right now, it feels like everything's lining up for that to happen. The Dodgers have their core locked in: Freeman, Betts, Ohtani, Yamamoto, and they've got that spark in Rojas. You can see it in how the players talk about him. You can feel it in how the fans react when his name gets mentioned. There's a respect there that goes beyond stats. It's about identity, about what it means to wear Dodger blue. So maybe this offseason won't be about some blockbuster headline. Maybe the most important news will be the quiet kind, the kind that starts with a smile, a quote between teammates, and a promise to run it back one more time. And if that's the case, if Miguel Rojas really does come back for another year alongside Shohei Ohtani and the rest of this powerhouse roster, you can bet the Dodgers will be right there again when October rolls around, ready to make more history. There's another angle to this whole story that makes it even more fascinating. While the focus has been on Miguel Rojas and whether he's coming back, the Dodgers have quietly been setting up a few more chess pieces behind scenes. It's not just about sentiment or loyalty, even though that's a huge part of the narrative. It's also about keeping this roster balanced, ready, and versatile for whatever the next season throws their way. And that's exactly where the front office excels. They know how to blend the emotion of baseball with the hard logic of building a championship team. Think about it for a second. This is a team that just came off back-to-back titles. They don't rebuild, they reload. Every offseason, while other franchises are trying to find their footing, the Dodgers are already 5 steps ahead. They've got the luxury of depth, but they also understand that championship windows don't stay open forever. So every move counts. That's why something as simple as a quote from Shohei Ohtani can carry so much weight. When your biggest superstar basically endorses a teammate's return, it becomes more than just a locker room moment. It becomes a statement about the team's direction. Rojas represents more than just a solid glove in the infield. He's the embodiment of what makes this Dodgers team so hard to beat. He's the veteran who's seen it all, who's been through the ups and downs, and who knows exactly what it takes to get through 162 games and still have enough left for October. And when you've got guys like that in your clubhouse, you hold on to them as long as you can. But here's the twist. There's a small part of this that depends entirely on Rojas himself. People close to the team have hinted that the Dodgers are basically waiting on his decision. There's no pressure, no deadline, just respect. They're giving him the time to figure out what he wants. Because after all he's done, he's earned that right. If he wants to come back, the door's wide open. If he decides that 2 championships and a career full of clutch moments are enough, then he walks away a hero. Either way, it's on his terms. Now, as we wait for that answer, another storyline has started to unfold quietly in the background. A familiar name from Japan, Tatsuya Imai, is reportedly preparing to make the jump to Major League Baseball. The right-handed starter from the Satomasibu Lions has officially been posted, meaning MLB teams will soon have the chance to negotiate with him. And guess who's already being mentioned as a potential landing spot? That's right, the Dodgers. If you've been following the Dodgers' international scouting patterns, this should come as no surprise. They've built one of the strongest pipelines from Japan in recent years, from Yamamoto to Ohtani, and now possibly adding another name to that list. Imai isn't a flashy pitcher, but he's efficient, reliable, and has that competitive edge the Dodgers love. With the team still looking to solidify their fifth starter spot, he could fit perfectly into that rotation. The posting system gives teams 45 days to negotiate a deal, which means the clock is about to start ticking. It's one of those situations where timing is everything. The Dodgers don't need to rush. They have the depth, but adding another solid arm before spring training would be the kind of under-the-radar move that ends up paying off big time. That's been their formula for years. Still, even with Imai on the radar and other offseason options floating around, fans can't stop talking about Rojas. It's almost symbolic now. His return feels like the emotional centerpiece of this whole offseason. Everyone's seen the clip of him and Ohtani joking around. Everyone remembers the home run that changed the season, and everyone understands what it would mean to have him back. It's not just about having another player. It's about keeping the heart of the team intact. And honestly, that's something that numbers can't replace. You can measure a player's batting average or his on-base percentage, but how do you measure his influence in the dugout? How do you quantify the experience of a guy who's been through 2 title runs and still shows up every day with the same energy and focus? That's the part of baseball that doesn't show up on spreadsheets, but makes all the difference in the world. As of right now, all signs point to Rojas leaning toward coming back. The way he spoke about Ohtani's comment, the way he joked about being too old for another decade but eager for one more year, it sounded like a man who still loves the game, who still has that fire burning inside. And you can tell that Ohtani meant every word, too. He wasn't just teasing, he was setting a tone. When the face of your franchise wants a veteran like that by his side, it shows the culture that's been built in Los Angeles. It's about unity, mutual respect, and chasing greatness together. And that's the thing about the Dodgers. They're not just building a roster, they're building a legacy. Every move, every signing, every conversation between players plays into a bigger picture. They're creating an environment where talent thrives because the foundation is solid. From the veterans to the rookies, everyone buys in. You can sense it even from the fans. They've rallied around Rojas because they recognize what he represents. He's that bridge between eras, the kind of player who keeps the culture alive as new stars emerge. He might not hit 30 home runs, but he brings something far more valuable: trust. When he's in the lineup, the team feels grounded. When he's on the bench, he's the first guy cheering his teammates on. That's the energy every championship team needs. But before we move forward, don't forget to join our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest news about the Los Angeles Dodgers. We'd love to hear your thoughts on the news, so drop a comment below. Whispers are echoing through the baseball world, and if they're true, the Los Angeles Dodgers might be facing more than just pressure on the field. According to several clubhouse insiders, Mookie Betts has allegedly made it clear that he refuses to play alongside a certain teammate again, a stunning revelation that's sending shockwaves through the organization. The rumor, which surfaced late last night and quickly gained traction among reporters and social media circles, hints at a serious rift behind closed doors. While no official names have been confirmed, sources close to the team describe the situation as tense and beyond repair. Betts, known for his professionalism and quiet leadership, is rarely linked to any kind of controversy, making the whispers all the more startling. Speculation immediately turned toward the Dodgers' star-studded roster. Could this involve a clash of egos between 2 marquee players? Or perhaps a personal issue that spilled into the dugout? Those who have followed the team closely note that recent body language between certain players seemed unusually distant. Subtle gestures, fewer high fives, and colder post-game exchanges that didn't go unnoticed by sharp-eyed fans. One unnamed source suggested that the disagreement may have started during a heated moment in the clubhouse after a disappointing performance, where words were exchanged that crossed a line. Since then, Betts has allegedly drawn a hard boundary, reportedly telling team staff that reconciliation is not an option. If these rumors prove accurate, the Dodgers front office could be forced into an uncomfortable position. With the offseason approaching and roster decisions looming, balancing talent and team chemistry might become their toughest challenge yet. For now, both Betts and the organization remain silent, leaving fans to wonder what really happened behind those locker room doors. That's all for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay up to date with exclusive news about the Los Angeles Dodgers, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We always appreciate your comments and feedback. See you in the next video.